Hi, students. Chapter 8 has to deal with families, communicating with families. I've had many students in the past who said, I love working with kids, but I just can't stand working with families. I've thought about that a lot, and I've thought about that in my own experiences through the years. And I learned one big thing. The child comes from the most important people in that child's life, their family. So it's a good thing and a very important thing for you to learn how to get along with these families and how to work through conflicts in a positive manner. Sometimes I think it's because it makes teachers feel uncomfortable or students feel uncomfortable at the prospect of knowing what to say or do with these families, and they may be afraid of conflict and their ability to handle those conflicts. That's all a part of learning how to work with families. Sometimes there will be a personality clash with a family. There's just something about them that just kind of goes the wrong direction whenever they show up. And that takes real work to not be biased towards the child and that family. You just have to work with those things as you work with parents. It's imperative that you do it. It's not an option. You've got to learn to do it. One thing you should always do when you have a conference, among other things, is learn to start out your conference or communication with what I call a compliment sandwich. Okay, think of a sandwich. Bread on top, the meat in the middle, bread on the bottom. So you're thinking of the bread on top, always start with something positive. Something as simple as, I'd like to tell you how hard Johnny's been working. He seems to really try. But there are some things I am concerned about and I would like to discuss with you because maybe you can give me some input and maybe you can help me know, are you seeing these behaviors or whatever it might be at home? And then you would always end it with, being very positive, appreciating the parent for coming in or talking with you and agreeing to work together to resolve or do any particular things that you might want to do with that child and family. And every program, in Pennsylvania it's required, but in every program there should be what's called a community resource list available to parents to see, whether it's the parent corner or a place when they first come in, a bulletin board. This needs to be available to them. It's helpful to them. It's helpful to you as a teacher or assistant teacher when they want help with something. But I will say to you, never ever, and this is true for everything, never ever tell a parent, oh, you need to go see Dr. So-and-so. They're really good. You cannot tell a parent a particular doctor to go see. You just can't do that. It could come back and bite you someday. But it's important to understand that you would just, well, I know of several resources, and then you can choose the one you feel is best for you. So that's where the resource list comes in handy. And every center should have one according to that particular county. For instance, the centers in Marion County will and should have a list of all the resources available in Marion County. Nowadays, it's much easier because we can Google anything we want to know about, and including any type of service. A good resource would be United Way, because in United Way, they list the resources for the county and will give you every kind of resource. Doctors, mental health, food banks, all sorts of things that parents might need assistance with. So it's very important that you have that resource list available for parents. A couple other things here that your chapter talks about is being very positive and supportive with working with families. How do you communicate with them? How often do you communicate with them? Some of the things you should remember is you should share information with families on a daily basis. Invite and respond to families' questions and concerns. It should be an open door policy. I always had open door policy. Parents knew anytime during the day they were welcome to come in. And I always kept it that way and let parents know, if you would like to come in, observe, discuss, talk with me, fine. But if it needs to be kind of like a conference type, there must be arrangements made for a specific time so that I would be able to work with them and have the time to do that. Keep your families informed. This is where newsletters, emails, etc. come in handy. And get to know each family well. Tailor your strategies with parents to meet the individual needs of parents. And hold the conferences. In West Virginia, there needs to be 2, if not 3 a year. It's required, so through pre-K. So that's something that will happen and should happen. And a biggie here too is always maintain confidentiality. Do not go spreading around anything that family might discuss with you. Everything pertaining to that family and that child is confidential. Kind of learn to recognize when families are under stress. And you could maybe have an opening statement that you use that wouldn't create any sort of conflict, but would open the door to them to maybe say something that might be affecting the family or that child. Work with the families to provide positive relationships and also how to create positive behaviors and outcomes for the children that you serve. And families should understand what their child is learning. What is their child learning through the routines of the day? What is the child learning through play? And parents need to know these things. They may not often really understand it at all. And a lot of times that can create anxiety within parents. Well, why aren't they sitting at the table learning numbers, learning phonics, learning what they think they should be learning? Because they don't understand that for young children, the learning is happening during their play experiences. And it's the teacher who's facilitating these experiences that make for positive outcomes. Try to stay away from the professional jargon. You know, I know we say developmentally appropriate practice, but do you realize a lot of the parents won't have a clue about what you're talking about? Well, what's developmentally appropriate when you say that to a parent? So you need to kind of stay away from teacher jargon, but make it understandable to everyday parents when you talk and work with them. All right, I think that's it for now. Thank you very much.